Mick says, I'm scared about sending my son to school, and that even with schooling, Elon Musk and the 1% will try to reduce him to just a cog in the machine. We had a conversation last night. We had game night here, and we had a conversation last night about the future. And a buddy of mine and I were talking, and then another friend of mine jumped in, and we were talking about, a future, like what the future could be. And we were talking about technology and all those things. And, when I think about the future, what I think about is when I think about the future, I think about drawing. I'm not an artist. I'm not a good drawer at all. Right? I'm not a good painter. I'm not artistic like that at all. But I think about a world where we could draw. Where people could sing. Where people could write poetry. Where people could walk in the forest, through the fields, along the beach. Where people could be. Where people could work. I don't even want to say work to live. Where people could work. If that was their choice. Where people could put their gifts and their skills to use. Right? It wouldn't even be called work. It would just be, oh, you're really good at building things. So you get to go today to build things. You're really good at painting walls. You get to go paint walls. And that's how we feel. I get to go paint a house today. I get to go build a house today. I get to go put windows in a car. I get to go and fix cars and repair engines and put on new brakes. I get a world where we can say that, happily say that. Not sarcastically, right? Not forced, but a world where we can actually, I get to go do these things that I love to do today. Doesn't matter how much it pays. Doesn't matter if it pays. Doesn't matter if it helps that machine Mick is mentioning that we're all supposed to be cogs in. Nope. That's the world I dream about. I really do. A world like that is fulfilling. A world like that might even be utopia. As a matter of fact, I caught this video. It was of Bill Maher, the HBO talk show host. He's a comedian. I don't know if he still does stand up, but I know he used to. He had Jane Fonda on, and the two of them were sort of going back and forth, and it was really based on their outlook of life. And she said to him, you're very cynical. You're much more cynical than I am. Well, actually, I think he even said, I'm much more cynical than you are. And she said, yeah, I see that. But the thing that caught me was his depiction of the far left, right? And it was something along the lines that the far left they're just never happy. There's always a cause. And I think he says that to Jane Fonda. He's like, I know you're there for the cause, but the cause is kind of there for you too, no? And she's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like your worldview is so different than mine. What he was saying is, on the left, there's always a cause. There's always something wrong. They're never happy with the way things are. They're never satisfied with the way things are. And he says that's a problem because it sounds so negative. We're always so negative. Once we solve this, now we got to solve that. And once we solve that, well, we only partially solved it. We want to go farther. We want to go deeper. We want to go more. We're always looking for another marginalized people to welcome in and to offer equity for. He never said that, but I was just thinking, these are the things that progressives have a tendency to be looking at. And it's kind of in the name. We want to progress. We want to progress. We want to advance. And the only way you advance is by changing things. The only way you advance is by growing. And growth is a form of change. The only way you progress is by looking at the world around you and saying to yourself, okay, what now? Right? Like if I'm renovating my house, maybe I start with the foundation, and from the foundation, I look at the roof, and once that's in place, well, now I'm going to see those windows are kind of leaky. I'm going to repair the windows. Maybe I look at the siding or the exterior cladding. Maybe I look at the flooring. Who knows? But it's an old house. I've got to renovate. Anybody out there who's ever had a house, you know that you never really stop. The brand new house, you're still going to do work to it. You don't really ever stop, because you want it to be as great as it possibly could be. And so you're never really ever truly satisfied. That's the mind of a progressive person. We're never truly satisfied because we know there's more to be had. Not more to do, more to be had. Every time we stand up for justice, it's not about doing something, it's about achieving something. It's about coming into possession of something. It's about getting more. Every time we stand up and seek out, mercy or compassion for others, equality and equity for others, inclusion of others, it's about getting more. We understand that there's just so much more to be had from this life. And therefore, there are so many that we can provide for in this life. If we can have this much, then the people beside me, they can have this much too. And I want to help them have this much. It's the mindset, but it's not about, I think for Maher, he would look at it and it's almost like a derangement. You're never happy. It's not about that. It's about wanting more. I want more. I want more for myself, and I want more for you. And I want more for the people down the street, and I want more for the newcomers, and I want more for the seniors. I want more for the world. Again, I've got big, bold dreams. I have huge dreams, like big, grand dreams about what this world could be. And I might not see it in my lifetime. Maybe I will, right? Maybe I will, but I probably won't. But I'd love my children to have it. I'd love my grandchildren to have it. I want them to have everything. I want them to have everything they need so that they could have a full, rich, free, abundant life. And I'm not talking money. I'm not talking stuff. I'm not talking about being a cog in the machine. I'm talking happiness and joy and peace and love and hope. I'm talking about wanting them to be able to wake up in the morning excited because they get to go dig a ditch that day. They get to go haul rock that day. They get to go drive truck that day. They get to go teach kids that day. I want them to live in a world where they're excited to be alive and they're excited to do the things that they love to do. And they have an opportunity to do what they love to do every day. That they don't ever work a day in their life. I think we can get there. But it requires us to do something, right? It requires us. This is the last point on this particular topic. I know I'm kind of rambling here. I'm going from place to place, but here's the thing. And I think this is something that we all have to do. We have to understand. We have to come to an understanding of what it is we want to build. We have to dream. And we've got to dream together. And if we choose to dream together, and if we come to a place where we have a shared vision of the future, it's possible. Amen.